there! Thursday, how are you, folks? Welcome to the show, 833-599-NICK, 833-599-6425. Dates, tomorrow night, Governors in Levittown, Long Island. Saturday night, Governors in Levittown, Long Island. Tuesday, November 6th, the Fat Black Pussycat, New York City. Friday, next Friday and Saturday, November 9 and 10, Comics, Mohegan Sun, Uncasville, Connecticut. Saturday, November 17th, the Comedy Shop in Bud Lake, New Jersey. Friday, November 30th, and Saturday, December 1st, the Corner Comedy Club in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. Monday, December 1st, New Year's Eve, Tarrytown Music Hall, Tarrytown, New York. Saturday, January 12th, Fairfield Theater Company in Fairfield, Connecticut. Saturday, January 19th, Bobby V's in Windsor Locks, Connecticut. Go to nickdip.com for all your ticket information. When I was young, it seemed that life was so wonderful. A miracle, oh, it was beautiful, magical, and all the birds in the trees, well, they'd be singing so happily, oh, joyfully, oh, playfully, watching me. But then they sent me away to teach me how to be sensible, logical, oh, responsible, practical, and then they showed me a world where I could be so dependable, or clinical, or intellectual, cynical. Twinks, there are times when all the world's asleep. The questions run too deep for such a simple mind. Won't you please, please tell me what we've learned? I know it sounds absurd. Please tell me who I am. Who I am. Oh, the cigarettes ruined it. God damn it. Let that be a lesson to you kids. Don't smoke or you can't fucking butcher a good song. Anyhow, anyway. Supertramp, Breakfast in America. That's how old I am. How's it going? How's your fucking stem? Is it aching? 833-599-6425. 833-59624 is the... And there's a foul on Larry Bird. He was slapped in the face by Magic Johnson. What a fucking schoolyard punk he is. Anyways, what's happening in the world? I got Bill Hicks today. We highlight a little Bill Hicks. Again, a comic who politically diametrically opposed to myself. Far left guy. Brilliantly funny. Brilliantly hateful. He died of cancer at 33. And what a shame. You know what that means. Jeff Dunham and Peanut will live till they're 117. That's what that means. But we're going to play a couple of his bits that inspired the shit out of me. Let's open up with a follow-up segment, as they call it. We talked about Don Lemon, a fucking insane CNN, gay, black, fucking Trump-hating machine. Hates it's just so typical of a guy. The fact that he's still on the air today is just mind-boggling to me. But this is the world on which we live. Here's the clip we played of him yesterday.
So we have to stop demonizing people and realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right. And we have to start doing something about them. There is no travel ban on them.
Other than blow them down?
Ban on, they had the Muslim ban. There is no white guy ban. So what do we do about that?
What do we do about the gay black man ban? Because you represent about 0.001% of how people see the world, yet CNN throws you out like you're the voice of America. Shut the fuck up. You should have been fired. That's you at your best right there. And that's as macho as you can look. Why don't you shut the fuck up, you racist goo gobbler? How about that? Put that in your fucking pipe and smoke it. What do we do about you? A fucking lying gay minority on a fucking major news network. What do we do about that? Nothing. You're on the air today proving that the country isn't racist and filled with evil white guys. So you just blew out your own argument. You're such a jack-off. I can't fucking stand you. But, he's crazy. It's definitely a nutcase.
There's something wrong with the black man's mind. There's something wrong with his mind.
He said today, I made some comments about that in a conversation with Chris Cuomo, the anti-Trump activist, told his viewers. I said that the biggest terror threat in this country comes from radical on the far right, primarily white men. That angered some people. Yeah.
Who said that?
Don Lemon.
Who the fuck said that?
Don fucking Lemon.
Who's the slimy little communist shit twinkle-toed cocksucker down here who just signed his own death warrant?
Don Lemon. But he didn't sign his own death warrant. Why? Because he's a minority on television at a far-left news network that has been debunked as the phoniest fucking enterprise on the planet. Yet they continue to spew their hatred. He says, but let's put emotion aside. It's funny coming from him. And look at the cold, hard facts. He likes everything hard. Nick, why do you have to go? Because I did. It's the fucking internet. Suck it. The evidence is overwhelming. A recent report from the Government Accountability Office shows that, he said. Oh, is that right? Is that the Government Accountability Office? Who runs that? Even though more people died in attacks connected to Islamic extremists, he says, the vast majority of deadly attacks in this country from 2001 to 2016 were carried out by far-right violent extremists. And then somebody called him on his bullshit, and he admitted Islamic terrorists had killed a whole lot more people than white men. Lemon went on to claim that the right-wing extremists are responsible for 74% of deadly attacks were carried out by right-wing extremists. Again, more horseshit.
You stupid fucking blabbermouth cunt!
Lemon did not explain how right-wing... By the way, this is from Nolte on Breitbart. Lemon did not explain how right-wing extremists automatically translates into his generalization of white men as a whole. As an example, the mail bomber caught last month will be listed as a right-wing extremist, but he's Filipino who identifies as a Seminole Indian. So right there, your argument goes in the toilet. Lemon also cherry-picked a statistic that best fit his partisan narrative, which is a statistic based on deadly attacks only between the years of 2007 and 2016. What Lemon did not want his viewers to know, and I've mentioned this on the show a million times, is that in less than 3 years, there's been over 630, I'll repeat that, 630 recorded acts of violence, threats, vandalism, and bullying by leftists against Trump and his supporters. So where's that in the fucking news?
You can't handle the truth!
Just last month, Lemon said the leftists have a constitutional right to harass Republicans until they are chased out of a public space, such as a restaurant. In September, Lemon, the big girl, defended the public harassment of Ted Cruz and his wife. In August, Chris Cuomo, another left-wing Marxist fuckstain, told his viewers that terrorism committed by left-wing Antifa against the GOP is right, in quotes. In July, CNN commentator Mark Lamont Hill, who I had a run with on the Gutfeld show, Red Eye, who was also a supporter of the anti-Semite Louis Farrakhan, defended violence against anyone wearing a Make America Great Again hat. In June, CNN's April Ryan, now the broads are getting involved, told a Republican woman she deserved death threats. That same day, Jake Tapper dismissed the harassment of White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders as a political stunt manufactured by Sanders. In May, CNN's Chris Cillizza released a video of President Trump in crosshairs. Oh, I thought that was Sarah Palin's invention. Remember, after Abby Gifford got shot? This is just an accounting of the last 6 months. So, Don Lemon, you're a liar. You work for a lying network. You're a racist. Probably hate fucking straight men. You're everything that you project. You project onto other people. You are the problem. I'll ask you this, Don Lemon. What if somebody on Fox said, you know, black people, far right, fucking black liberals, you know, they are the problem. Plus, they kill each other. They kill other people of other races. What do we do about that? Just let that simmer and think about that for 5 minutes. But no, Don Lemon's back on the air today, doubling down on his dog shit. So, Don, I don't know what to tell you. I guess you can't get fired. Like I said, if he was a white guy, they would at least pretended to be mad at him. They didn't even do that in this situation. I'm telling you, I've had enough. Let's go to Chris in Pennsylvania who wants to talk about Don fucking Lemon. Chris, what's up?
Yeah. Hey, Nick, I don't really want to tell you. I just think we got to get this cocksucker.
Oh, come on. No. Save that. Let
All
me.
right, maybe.
He's a flamboyant fella. Go ahead.
All right. Well, maybe this person,
Yeah.
Don Lemon, a calculator and a calendar, because as I recall, in Chicago alone, there's been about 2,100 deaths this year from handgun violence.
Yeah.
And last week, Louis Farrakhan told use termites, and I think that might have had
He said what?
more of an effect on the, on the synagogue massacre than, Joe Snow working at the 7-Eleven.
Chris, you got to.
What do you think?
You got to talk into your mouthpiece. What about?
Can you hear me now, sir?
Yeah, thank you. Please keep it.
I believe I believe that Louis Farrakhan had more of an effect on the synagogue massacre than Joe Schmo working at the grocery store.
Well, they're not blaming it on Joe Schmo. They're blaming it on Trump. The old white male in the White House. Apparently, there's no room for that.
All right, but we've had old white males for about 42 presidents in a row. I just don't understand it.
Well,
you'll have to forgive me. I'm recovering from brain surgery, and I'm not as sharp as I used to be.
Actually, you sound fine, Chris, and I appreciate the call. I'm actually embarrassed that you had brain surgery and you're doing better than I am. But no, you make a legitimate point, and but my point is, you made my point for me. We've had 40-something white presidents, and somehow all this rhetoric and all this violence started when the last white president took office in January of 2016, or 2017, I should say. It's total horseshit. The fact that Don Lemon is still on the fucking air is an outrage, and you know what? I didn't even see any of that today. Not even from so-called right-leaning networks. Not even talking about it. We're so anesthetized in this country to the idea, all racism is white. And there's no way, Don Lemon's just a racist, hateful piece of shit. A liar, and he lies, and he has luckily his ratings are in the toilet, but he still has ratings. He's still on TV. So... I couldn't believe today. I thought I'd wake up, read a bunch of articles. Well, CNN's going to, suspend them for a week or something. How fucking naive am I? 833-599-6425 is the phone number. Speaking of right-wing outlets, as they say, which Fox, that's what gets thrown into that, which is hilarious. This Shepard Smith does an hour of how much he hates Trump. Him and Don Lemon ought to get a room and just kiss each other all over. Until they, all over. Then eventually they would hopefully go off the grid. I was watching Tucker Carlson last night, and he made an appearance on Dennis Prager's show. Dennis Prager is a religious guy. He's Jewish, brilliant. When I lived in L.A., I found him on the radio, and I couldn't stop listening to him. And he actually had a TV show for 5 minutes, but because of his, point of view, which is right, that went away. But Tucker Carlson was explaining how he made an appearance. He had Dennis Prager on, who is tight with Adam Carolla. He had them both on. And Tucker went on to Dennis Prager's show to plug his book, Ship of Fools. And Google, who owns YouTube, Prager wanted to use it as an advertisement, Tucker's appearance, and they wouldn't do it. YouTube wouldn't do it. Because in Ship of Fools, Tucker Carlson refers to some poor people in third world countries as peasants. As peasants, that's right. And that was YouTube or Google's explanation, which they thought was hateful and some other PC shit. They finally backed down after they reviewed it. They said it was a mistake, blah, blah, blah. But, the damage had been done. And here's Tucker saying what I just told you.
A new reminder that big tech, not big government, is now the top threat to free expression in America and around the world. That's a big change. Taking a lot of people time to metabolize it, but it's absolutely real. Here's one example. A couple of weeks ago, we appeared on Dennis Prager's YouTube channel, PragerU, to read an excerpt from our book, Ship of Fools. PragerU wanted to advertise that appearance on YouTube, but they were blocked by Google Ads. The reason, Google said, is that our video is, quote, dangerous or derogatory. Some of it refers to poor farmers and laborers as peasants. Well, that's a perfectly factual statement, common around the world. Doesn't matter, though. Well, the First Amendment shackles the government from suppressing views it doesn't like, at least for now. No laws currently protect the public from tech monopolies that control the flow of all human information. After PragerU appealed the censorship, Google Ads reversed its decision because they were embarrassed, as has happened many times, and in a statement to this program said, quote, the ad was mistakenly disapproved. But of course, the damage had already been done.
Yes. Hey, I look like I have a tan today. Now, why is that?
We worked hard on color correction today.
So it wasn't me saying was... Yeah, you did. You nailed it. So it wasn't my imagination this whole time that I looked like Lily Munster for the first 100 episodes?
No, you just look naturally tan. I'm just messing with you.
No, you did work. Oh, no, it was that camera you worked on, right? GoPro. Look at that shot, folks. That's Peabody Award winning. How about the getup I got on? It was less scary yesterday. Anyways, more on Dennis Prager and Tucker Carlson. So Prager was sitting next to Carolla, who they're best buddies now, and Prager, even when I lived in LA in the mid-90s, I listened to him. He did a lot of stuff on relationships, marriage and stuff. He's a religious guy. He's brilliantly religious, soft-hearted, and being treated like a fucking terrorist. So he was on talking about what he got in trouble for, what Media Matters did to him. Well, here it is.
Example, I wrote a two-part column about 10 years ago, and because I do a lot of work on male-female issues on my radio show. Yes. Every week for years I've talked about men and women. So I have, on the basis of talking to so many couples, simply offered the advice to a woman: if you love your husband and he is a good man, then don't let mood alone determine whether or not you'll have sex with him, because it's an important thing to him. So give it a try, okay?
I don't want to jump in, but is my wife still here? Lynette was here earlier,
She
right?
was.
Lynette!
All right.
There's some wisdom being... Is she gone?
This is my man.
Oh, my God, Dennis. Where?
I know.
She's not here?
Well, all right. So it's truly helpful. So here's the terrible part. In Huffington Post, just 2 weeks ago, a guy cited this from 10 years ago. Prager advocates marital rape. And that's what they wrote in the Colorado State University. The guy, beware, a guy who believes in marital rape is coming to campus.
That's disgusting.
Yes, it is disgusting.
Okay. He was telling women, even if you're not in the mood, because if your husband's a good man, he prefaced it by that you should have sex with him anyways. And Media Matters and other left-wing outlets turned it into that he was advocating for marital rape. He was going to go speak at Colorado State University. This is what the left does. It's all about language. They control people's behavior by playing with the fucking language and just outright lie in this situation. But don't say there's no bias. And Google, as Tucker said, they control everything, all the information now. They are more of a threat than China and Russia combined as far as meddling in our elections and shit. You know, they're going to silence guys like Dennis Prager, a religious guy. And, it's more of the same. The only solution is, like I said, is you got to stop more Fox News channels. Excuse me. You got one in American News. I don't know what they do for numbers. I have to look that up. And Newsmax, I guess. But they control the blowhorn. And people on the left nod because the one thing they do, they stick together, even though some people are saying this is too much. But there's two examples. He couldn't advertise on YouTube because Tucker used the word peasant. That's considered whatever by YouTube. Then they admitted to it later on. And then they're saying Dennis Prager is advocating for marital rape. Two blaring examples. And Dennis Prager gets 600, 700 million people on his YouTube. So this is like shutting down a network. You know what I mean? Absolutely fucking insane. So it's not in our imagination. But you're not going to hear that story on Don Lemon or any other. And frankly, I, for one, am tired of it. Let's go to my buddy Jason Romero. He voted early in Florida. Florida? Boy, am I from Boston or what? In Florida, and then he had a vodka and tonic. That's how I used to order when I first moved to New York. Can I get a vodka and tonic? And every bartender would go, did you say vodka? I go, yes. People in Brooklyn do it, ironically, too. They slap R's where they don't belong, and that and I'm mentally ill. Let's be honest, folks. Jason, you voted early like a good American, and what is your feeling? What is the temperature out there? How are the Republicans doing in early voting?
Well, Nick, I got my car keys, and then I jumped into the Toyota and went home and watched the news. But, no, I got out of early voting, man, and I got to tell you, like, so far personally, I know I'm kind of a younger guy, but I've always participated in early elections, and the turnout, man, I mean, it was like a week out from the election, and it was just elbow to elbow there in the polls. But what I really wanted to touch on, man, is because I was thinking about it the other day when I was there, and you got people like Don Lemon and all these people on the left that are already militant and aggressive towards conservatives as it is.
Yeah.
But imagine if they get the House and all that rhetoric they've been talking about, like Obama talking about putting the jackboot on corporations and what was his name? When we go low, we'll kick them high or whatever.
Yeah,
like
Eric
when they
Holder.
get that power, how are they going to treat? And what scares me even more is if they're already militant now, how much worse is it going to get if they lose? And I'll take your comments off the air, man, but I just wanted to pick your brain about that because I'm genuinely curious. Oh, and by the way, as a Hispanic, I have taken it upon myself to start a new caravan. I'm trying to get conservatives. I'm trying to get conservatives such as yourself up in New York and Boston to come down here to the South where they feel more at home.
Yes.
Because it's a lost cause up there, brother, and we need you down here.
Well, you need people behind.
Love you, Nick.
Thanks, Jason. You need people behind enemy lines too. And if showbiz, if there was any, sense of showbiz in Florida, I'd be down there. But unfortunately, it's here in New York. Trust me. You think I like paying over $20,000 in property taxes? Well, I lost my train of thought. He's starting Hispanic caravan. Oh, we call it a minivan. There's usually about 11 kids in the back. That's the new number. 11. Yes. Well, if they take over the House, was your question, Jason? You know what's going to happen. I don't care if we beat them. If we retain the House, who gives a shit? They can go bonk. They can't go any more bonkers than they are now. Maybe they can. It'll kick off the Civil War. But if we retain both chambers of Congress, I don't give a shit. Fucking Trump will do whatever he wants, passes whatever he wants. But if they don't, you know what they're going to do. If the Dems take control, they're going to right away. Impeachment's going to come. They've already said this. They're not even making it a secret. Impeachment's going to come up. They're just going to tie him up. Russian collusion, more of that horse shit. It'll make what's going on now look like a Tea Party. So get out there and vote, old white folk. Don Lemon says you're the problem. I say he the problem. I say Don Lemon, he the problem. You know what I'm saying?
There's something wrong with the black man's mind. There's something wrong with his mind.
How about the black woman's mind, like Don Lemon? What's the matter with his fucking mind?
Can you stay categorically? You are fake news, sir.
Amen. Amen. Let's have a palate cleanser. I was talking about my one of the comics I fucking loved who passed away years ago. He's been dead forever now. I was about to do a TV show at Caroline's called Caroline's Comedy Hour. It was on A&E. It was one of those shows. I was about to go on stage, and Jocelyn, this woman who was running the club at the time, comes up to me as literally 30 seconds before they're going to introduce me. He goes, Bill Hicks just died. Have a good set. I mean, and I fucking loved Hicks. Again, politically, I didn't like him, but as far as a comic, I could listen to his shit and learn about the left and how much hatred they had for the right, and he was fucking funny. And I get friends of mine who disagree, I put him up there with the greats of all time. I put him up there, and I had friends on the, friends in comedy I'd say more loved him that didn't, but I have a few that didn't fucking, he didn't care if he was getting dead silence. He plowed on, and he would torture people, and he would make you laugh and think at the same time. That sounds like a cliche, but he's the first guy that I ever watched that I'm like, holy shit, I didn't really think of that. And he was just a great joke. Not all of it was political. Like this bit I'm about to show you. It's one of my favorite bits of all time about stuntmen and how they can make movies better. Here's Bill Hicks. The perfectly written joke. I love looking at the twinks. Jason's laughing. Ryan just no fucking no. Yeah, you even listening to the bit, Ryan? Take your time.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
No response. Not even a laugh.
It's funny. I'm just not laughing.
That's a weird fucking reaction. What do you do when you find something funny? Shit your pants? Fucking tank top. Oh, God. Just a fucking killer joke writer. And I learned a lot about committing to fucking... Later on, we're going to pull another clip. When things aren't going well for Bill on stage, he used to pull out this bit. He called it dark poetry that would flush the room. It was so fucking vile and dark that it would walk. I know somebody who saw him at the Comedy Connection in Boston, and he wasn't doing that well, and he did the bit intentionally and walked more than half the room. My buddy told me they were filing out. That's what happens to you if you do this for a living every night. People always go, what happens when you tell them you're a comedian? What happens is if they don't laugh? First of all, we have proven material. You're not going up there making it up every fucking night. But secondly, the longer you do it, the more jaded you get at this. The silence is almost better than the laughs. You're like, these people really fucking hate me. Let's see what they think about this one. And you pile on yourself. Then you dig a hole to China. And Hicks was the best at clearing a room. But son of a gun. I got to meet him. When I first moved to New York, I was doing a set at Catch a Rising Star, which was the club in New York City. And I used to do a bit about women washing their bras. I said, why? I've never seen a pair of dirty tits in my life. You ever take a girl's bra off and see like mud in a McDonald's bag stuck to her chest and fucking sawdust and leaves and and it murdered. And I came off and Hicks came up to me, who, he's a hero of mine. He goes, the dirty tit thing, cute bit, kid. Cute bit. That made my year. Anyways, let's get back to the news, shall we? Google. Google? I just talked about Google, the aforementioned Google, the biased Google, the Google that is going to interfere with our elections because they control every bit of information. Google employees apparently have their own problems, thank God. Google employees across the globe staged a series of walkouts to protest claims of sexual harassment, gender inequality, and systemic racism. That's how fucking left-wing these giant tech companies, that the employees don't think Google is left-wing enough. There's not enough. Do you really think there's a ton of inequality at Google? Do you really? I mean, I love it. It's libs eating libs. We love it. So thousands of employees walked out the other day. They said, we were disgusted by the details of recent New York Times article, which provided the latest example of a culture of complicity, dismissiveness, and support for perpetrators in the face of sexual harassment, misconduct, and abuse of power. This is at Google. What goes on at Pfizer? A fucking Merrill Lynch, where old crusty white fellas. What a bunch of whining. Ugh. I'm actually siding with the fucking management in Google, who would hate everything I stand for. That's how PC Google is. In the face of sexual harassment, misconduct, and abuse of power, organizers of the Google walkout said in a statement, sadly, this is part of a long-standing problem, one further amplified by systemic racism. We know this culture. So it's what they're not even saying. They blame their employers, but it's a bigger problem. It's the United States once again. We're going to show a clip of a girl that they interviewed in a few minutes, and you'll see why. It's not going to surprise you, her point. The organizers who received the support of CEO Sundar Pichai, those Indians are all about pussy, for their protests across 40-plus globally, 40-plus office globally in email late Tuesday have a list of 5 demands. Number 1, protesters want a blanket end of forced arbitration for harassment and discrimination claims, as well as the ability for Google employees to bring a colleague or a supporter when meeting with HR. They're such children. Why don't you get a note from your mom? Maybe your mommy and daddy can come in with you. And Jesus Christ, Snowflake is not. Demand number 2, a commitment to end pay and opportunity inequity and to make sure there are women of color at every level of Google. Well, that would be impossible because there's not that many women of color who are probably in that field. And I know that's a judgment call, and I just fucking made it. Oh, that's fucking racist. At every level of Google. And the release of transparent data on the gender, race, and ethnicity compensation gap. Such data must also include promotion rates, the handling. In other words, why are the white guys getting paid more? This is fucking Google, for Christ's sake. A handling of leaves and equity in project and so-called job ladder opportunity. Demand number 3, a public sexual harassment transparency report that includes the number of claims at Google over time and by product area, the types of claims, as well as how many victims and accused have left the tech giant and any exit packages and their value. None of your fucking business. How about that? I'm running the company. None of your fucking business. Go dig it up yourself. Again, I'm not talking about an old crusty white fucking law firm of, Limbaugh, fucking O'Reilly and Limbaugh. Number 4, a clear, inclusive process for reporting sexual misconduct safely. Why, is it dangerous to report it? What do you get your ass grabbed on the way to HR? And anonymously, that is accessible for all Google employees. Like, I'm supposed to believe that, doesn't it? Number 5, they demand elevate the company's chief diversity chief, Danielle Brown, I'm guessing black, to answer directly to the chief executive officer and make recommendations directly to the board of directors. Appoint an employee representative to the board with both the head of diversity and the employee rep working to allocate permanent resources for the protesters' first 4 demands. Fuck off. Shut up. You're an employee. I'm the employer. I'll run it my way. Oh, I'm sure there's all kinds of inequality and sexual harassment going on. I'm sure it's running rampant. Who would hide that story? Here's a young girl, Nessie, or whatever the hell she is. They interviewed as the walkout was going on.
There's a lot of work to be done.
How do you feel about hearing
Cutie pie, by the way,
at your own company that you work for?
Super disappointing. I think Google is a company that's recognized for having really strong values, and
time out. Why she sound like a 16-year-old white valley girl? Sounds like she grew up with Marsha Brady. Strong values, and I like dreadlocks. I like to look like Lisa Bonet. She's cute though, and what? But let's count how many times she says like. Okay, that should be rule number 1. You can't demand anything if you say like more than 3 times in a sentence. That means you're not that educated. Go ahead.
Very true of the culture at whole, and so to hear something like this in a space where most employees will tell you they feel really safe.
Pause.
It's just like huge.
Most employees will tell you, she just said, where they feel really safe. But that's not enough. That's not enough. She just admitted they feel really safe at Google. But go ahead.
Really disappointing because even in a place where we consider it like an extremely safe place to work.
Oh! I'm eating a milk bone. An extremely safe place. So she said it's safe, an extremely safe place, yet it's not good enough. You're just being selfish. How were you fucking raised? Go ahead.
An extremely inclusive place to work. There's still occurrences of this, and so it says a lot about like society as a whole.
Okay, pause. It says a lot about society as a whole. In other words, this country, it's systemic racism. It's the United States of America that's racist. Not so much our employer. It's this country that we work in. This country where black and brown people are trying to sneak in by the millions, where we have to call the goddamn military out. That's right. Black and brown people coming to this racist country because they have a dream to be shit on. Go ahead.
Our country and our nation and the state of being, like the state of living in a place like this. So,
what do you think this walkout would change?
Hoping it'll create conversations and then create actions, right? So for us to be kind of a leader as a company, to other companies around the way that we treat cases of like sexual misconduct would be amazing.
Hold on. Like sexual misconduct or sexual misconduct? See, if I want to be the literalist, I could make her look fucking silly. Like? I sound like Judge Judy now. Like or actual? Like sexual misconduct? It's an extremely safe place. She just admitted to fucking work. But that is not enough because the company's located in a racist society. Her head has been filled with so much mush, it's coming out in the form of dreadlocks. Again, a cutie pie. Oh, come on, Jason. You can say that shit. I know you grew up in Westchester here in the fucking liberal purple, fucking dark blue. Same color as Whitey Bulger's blood. Anyways, go ahead.
Setting a high standard is really what I'd like to see.
And can we get your name and for us?
Yeah, so my name's Anissa Benitez, and I work as a product marketing manager at YouTube Music. There's a lot of work to be done.
I was guessing you were a cheerleader at Cal Poly Slow. So they're eating each other, folks, which we love when libs go after libs. But could you think of a safer company to work for if you're a young black girl or whatever she was, Hispanic, black, than Google or any of these high-tech companies? I believe not. Thousands of them walk, which is good. I see it as punishment. Of course, the woman talking to her said, what about the charges that Google is shutting down conservative speech? The many cases of evidence we have where they shut down people who differ from the people who run your company. You have any comment on that? Well, those don't exist. Not in my world. I watch Rachel Maddow every night. Then I go right to bed. I'm a product manager, for Christ's sake. What a bag of shit. Filled with corn, ladies and gentlemen. The walkout happened in several cities all over the planet, apparently. Dublin, Zurich, London, Tokyo, Singapore. And the protesters' demands are likely to further fuel a growing backlash coming from within Silicon Valley mainstays over issues of cooperation with Defense Department, with ICE and the police. Oh, so that's another one of their beefs, that their employees actually cooperate with law enforcement. What a fucking misguided generation of chooches, of mamalukes, of asswipes. That's their beefs. They're letting the police know where illegals are. You mean the ones that are going to try to take your job? Yes. As well as perceptions of political bias both inside and outside of these companies. Google, you deserve it for shutting down guys like me and Dennis Prager and whoever the fuck else. Yeah, I'm glad they're tucking it up your ass. Here's some good news. Ooh, that looks good. Go ahead. Hi, how are you? Welcome to the GoPro. Welcome to the Go. I'm a radical, an intellectual, a fucking cynical. And all the birds in the trees, they were dying from pollution. This is my favorite story of the day. A mourner at a memorial for the West Side Highway terror attack. That was like a year ago today. Remember the truck on the West Side Highway, Manhattan? A mourner at the memorial for the West Side Highway terror attack on Wednesday refused to shake Mayor Bill de Blasio's hand after the city only let loved ones know about the event at the last minute. Well, that's how he does shit. He's on black time, yo. He's late for you're making a face, Jason. He's fucking late for everything he does. He's on black time. You know that.
Just my holding in a laugh face.
Oh, let it out. You're safe here. This is a safe space for you. You might as well be a West Indian chick fucking working for Google right now.
Thing is, my gut reaction is not to laugh at things like that in front of people.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to.
Which is terrible, right?
It really is. You're not going to help me by holding it in. You're like the lady when I'm having a Letterman audition that used to fucking be covering her mouth. I'm like, what are you doing? I see jiggling tits and jiggling shoulders. I need some fucking laughs over here. The guy's name who refused to shake de Blasio hand, Hugh Hales Took, stared straight ahead and refused to acknowledge de Blasio's presence as His Honor stuck out his hand while greeting those gathered to grieve the 8 people mowed down by a truck driving terrorists on the pathway a year ago. And he tries to shake this guy's hand, and this guy just looks at him and goes,
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
which you gotta love. Hales Took said his friend Monica Missio, whose son Nicholas Cleves died in the massacre, missed the event because she was only told about it late Tuesday afternoon and was out of town. She's very hurt. She was very hurt, he told the Post. Adding insult to injury, de Blasio, listen to this. Listen to this. De Blasio then forgot to read out any of the victims' names during his address at the service. This crystallizes him perfectly. Despite managing to name check all of the politicians who showed up at the fucking event, if that doesn't fucking,
You're a wormy cocksucker, you know that?
Can you imagine? You're the mayor speaking at a memorial, and you don't mention the victims, the names of the victims. Can you imagine? But he had all his political ducks in a row. If that doesn't sum up de Blasio and guys like him, he showed us true. He doesn't give a fuck about you. Whether you're just a taxpayer or whether you lost somebody to terror, he doesn't give a shit. It's about power. He's climbing that ladder. He's going to run someday. And the way this country's going, we'll probably have a good shot. God forbid. When family members objected after the memorial, the mayor returned to the podium to apologize for the faux pas. Fucking, how do you take that apology serious?
And you're a piece of shit.
Hey, Mayor, what did you do today? Well, I went to a memorial for people who were killed in a terrorist attack a year ago, and how'd it go? I forgot the names of the people that run over, but I did mention all the politicians here. Well, that's terrific. What are you going to do tonight? I don't know, put a gun in my mouth. He's late for every event. He has a black wife and a kid with an afro like fucking Colin Kaepernick. I swear to God, he used his kid's haircut to get elected in New York. He put his kid in every fucking ad. Look it up when he was running for mayor. Ooh, he likes minorities. Let's vote. That's all you got to do. Ka-ching. That's, as the Italians say, disgraziar. How about this dude here? Todd Latourette, an Albuquerque, New Mexico-based actor who said he had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, told the local TV station that he sawed off his arm during a psychotic episode 17 years ago and had been off his medication at the time of the episode. I severed my hand with a skill saw, he said, which reminded me of... To get the state of my mind was psychotic, he said. Well, thank you for clearing that up. We didn't put that together.
Watch out, because I'm...
Despite the gruesome episode, Latourette was able to find work as an actor with an amputated limb over the years by concocting a story. Guy should be working for de Blasio. About being a war veteran. He most recently appeared as Skell in Season 4, Episode 5 of AMC's Better Call Saul. Then he says, I was dishonorable. I'm killing my career by doing this. If anyone thinks this was for personal edification, that's not the case, says Latourette. I'm ousting myself from the New Mexico film industry, and gladly so, just to say what I've said. Latourette, who said he is back on his medication, said he chose to come forward because he no longer wanted to live a lie, even though he said it might affect his acting career in the future. That's like a comedian. Steve, I don't remember. God. I forget his last name. A young guy, a couple years ago, actually was telling people in every interview he did that he was in the towers when 9/11 happened. He ran out or whatever the fuck. And after telling that story for about a year, people looked into it. He was full of shit. And you know what? I haven't heard much from that guy. I still heard him on the radio right after that broke. But that is pretty fucking low. At least this guy cut his hand off. That should be his punishment. I'm going to cut your other hand off, a lie. Then you can get more roles. But he came clean once on, and I'm not making fun of bipolar people, but remember, I was punched in the face by one, so I don't have that much fucking empathy. That is the coolest prosthetic hand I've ever seen in my life, though. Look at that.
You got to hand it to him.
Oh, fucking, I should fire you right now, you smelly fucking tank top wearing. Gotta hand it to him. Oh, God. First rule, Ryan, let me help you comment. If it's too easy, then anybody could make up that you skip it, the joke.
I said it for Jason. He was too afraid.
Yeah, you should have had it muted. Right now, about 70 people shut up the show. They're heading towards our house. It's going to look like Tony Montana's at the end when his house is being raided by all those guys in black masks and shit. Gotta hand it to him. I like to hand you a fucking... I'll give you a hand. Closed-fisted one. Right across your breast area. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Well, I'm going to give the guy some kudos for coming clean, but you were a rat bastard for a long time. Maybe you're using your bipolar, your mental illness as an excuse for being a liar. Please tell me what to do. I'm sawing off my hand. I don't know who I am, Oh, there's a hammer, a saw, a chisel, and all the fingers came off. They floated down in the sink. I fucking think we want. I got to get the eyes fixed. These things, look at the dents in my face. Somebody's telling me that that's skin cancer. And I'm letting it go. I tell the people on the phone, I try to make an appointment back in, I don't know, July. Yeah, her first opening is in November. How's that? I'm like, good. Tell her she can say the prayers at my funeral. My fucking left cheek is caving in. Could be from the punch. I think it's from the punch. I don't know. I'd have a better case if it is cancer. These lawyers, man, they don't want, unless you're in a wheelchair and fucking look like Stephen Hawking after the incident, they want nothing to do with you. They're like, can you still wipe your own your ass? I'm like, yeah, okay, nice talking to you. Not interested. Click. Hello. Here's a delicious story. Vegetarians served human flesh after restaurant owner kills customer and cooks the body part. Talk about a guy who's resourceful. Talk about a multitasker. This guy killed one of his fucking arch enemies in a kitchen and said, I'm not going to get the buck. It's Friday night. The place is packed. Let's put something on the, let's put an appetizer out there. We'll tell him it's crocodile fucking toes. I don't know. Diners were shocked when they found minced meat in their dish of fucking noodles. Customers at a vegetarian restaurant were served human flesh from the body of a man killed by the business owner. Diners were shocked when they found minced meat in a dish that was only supposed to contain noodles and vegetables. I would have looked at it as a plus. This is how much of a foodie I am. If it tasted good, I swear to God, I would have been like, it was a guy's fucking breast meat and elbows? I don't know. I thought it was pork, chicken. I don't like people who won't try shit, like they won't even try rabbit or duck. But it was a little bunny rabbit. Well, what do you want to fuck it or eat it? It's a bunny rabbit. I don't give a shit. I ate when I was doing a gig in Colorado years and years ago, and I ordered Rocky Mountain oysters, and nobody told me what they were. I thought it was I really thought they were just chicken tender type things, So I order them, and I'm eating them like the guy goes, "You like those?" I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Do you know what they are?" I go, "Yeah, it's like chicken, isn't it?" He goes, "No, they're fucking bull's balls." And you know what? I ordered some more. What's the difference? If it tastes good and it doesn't kill you, I don't understand. I don't understand. They made a complaint to local authorities in Bangkok. Yeah, good luck with that. And that triggered an inspection of the restaurant. When's the last time this place was inspected? But local authorities who were expecting to find minced pork or beef were stunned when they discovered that the diners were served human flesh. And Jimmy Conway liked it.
Anyway.
Delicious.
Thank you.
What is it? It's testicles in a guy's nipples. Delicious. Jason, you are fucking right on, brother. Right on top of that. Ryan, are you learning? Are you watching him? We'll put you back on the big machine. Go ahead. You don't even have the mic on.
I'm not learning enough.
No, apparently not. You just answered my question. The one mic that they have to talk into me, he doesn't know after 3 months what button to hit. He's checking out his own pipe cleaners over there. Look, we got one guy dressed like the fucking anchor newsman at 7 o'clock, and the other guy just come back from a fucking gay rally. The restaurant's owner is accused of trying to dispose of a man's body by cutting him up, cooking his flesh, and serving it to customers. I don't know about you, but I like my human flesh. I like it breaded. Have you ever had the breaded hot nipples? Oh my God, that to fucking die for. Buffalo toes, yummy, yummy. Police found chunks of human flesh on the floor. Jesus, and blood spattered on the walls in the kitchen. Why would you fucking kill your enemy in the kitchen, the place of business? Oh, again, it was packed and we needed the meat. All right. During a search of the premises in Lat Krabang, they found a 61-year-old man's disfigured body in the septic tank. What the fuck?
I don't know nothing about that.
Oh my God. Guys, make a note. Next time you're bad. Yes, next time have you stuff your face in my septic tank, you might see somebody's nuts floating by. Not mine, hopefully. I mean, don't they have any, look, those are body parts in there. It looks like the dildo in the end zone in Buffalo. Look at that. Who wants cock soup? Well, where is it? It's out behind the restaurant. We have it coming out of the pipe. That's somebody's human parts in a septic tank. And if I showed my parents that, they go, but there's people starving all over the world that could use that cock. Anyways. That's terrible. You think that guy might go out of business now? I want to know how he did for lunch the next day.
We have a shot of some people reacting to.
Go ahead. No, that woman was at my taping of my last special. Look at that. Oh my God. I ate a man and I'm a lesbian. I did not like it. Oh, what a world, folks. I can't make this shit up. I can't make this outfit up, but I did. Listen, let's, we need after eating burnt human dead man's flesh from a septic tank, I think we need a palate cleanser. This is Bill Hicks, the clip I mentioned earlier about when he was having trouble with audiences. He'd do this. It's about 3 minutes long, but listen, the audio's not that good because he's at the Funny Farm in Chicago, a club I used to play, and he fucking lost it that night. The audio's not that good, so listen hard, but he's going to go, it's about mediocrity. He blames Dick Clark for all the mediocrity in the world at the time, and this is what he used to break out if he wasn't doing well at a club to flush the audience. And listen at the very beginning, they're not even listening to him. Go ahead.
He's been on TV as long as you can recall, Dick Clark. Who has not aged one fucking day? Dick Clark. Who brings us Tiffany, Wham, Casey and the Sunshine Band? Bobby Goldsboro, Dick Clark. That is not Dick Clark, that is a Dick Clark rubber mask with a zipper in the back. When he gets off that TV show year after year, week after week, systematically lowering the standards of this country, he undoes that zipper and underneath is a cloven-hooved, horned Wolverine. There's a knock on the door. The door opens. and John Davidson walks in.
Pause it.
He's been on TV.
Oh, John. Oh shit! Did we go back to the beginning?
My fault. I misclicked.
John Davidson was this fucking loungy singer, just the definition of mediocrity. He used to host the Tonight Show, just a pretty boy with no talent. And go ahead.
Fucking day, Dick Clark. Who brings us Tiffany, Wham, Casey and the Sunshine Band? Bobby Goldsboro, Dick Clark. That is not Dick Clark, that is a Dick Clark rubber mask with a zipper in the back. When he gets off that TV show year after year, week after week, systematically lowering the standards of this country, he undoes that zipper, and underneath is a cloven-hooved, horned Wolverine. There's a knock on the door. The door opens, and John Davidson walks in. John Davidson drops his pants in his bikini panties and leans over a desk. Anyone not know where this one's headed? He's been on TV as long as you can recall, Dick Clark. Who has not aged one fucking day?
Dude, can we fast forward? Can you jump ahead? Just a little bit?
I'll get it back to where it was. It's going to take me a second.
Go ahead. What are you fucking doing? This bit's not going to have the potency I was hoping it would have after numerous interruptions.
Maybe you should get me back on the computer.
Yeah, that's the solution.
Maybe you should get a trained chimpanzee.
Shut up. Wait till he gets to this too.
Shining armor. Obligingly, John Davidson parts his buttocks to reveal a pink, jasmine-scented anus, which pooches open in anticipation. And I love you. It winks. The Wolverine Mountain. Lady. Lady. Stop me if you've heard this before. No one knows. The Wolverine explodes a cloud of silverfish, followed by a black, pus-gorged tick which crawls out of the scaly penis of the Wolverine into the bowels of John Davidson, hooking itself to the inner lining of his colon, where it begins to suck and swell. Well, it's the size of an airbag. John Davidson is now pregnant with the children of the Prince of Darkness. Bloated, fat, and satisfied. 6 months, 6 days, and 6 hours later, his bile breaks. And he shits the brood. Geraldo Rivera. Madonna. Dan Quayle. Gerardo, Paul Abdul, Michael Bolton, all the mediocre brood of Satan shat out of John Davidson's ass. Thank you very much.
In a perfect world, he could do that on the Tonight Show at Jimmy Kimmel tonight. That's when I fell in love with that guy. He would pull that bit out anytime the crowd hated him, and they would fucking file out. Yeah, exactly. Why would you file out for a brilliant piece of dark poetry? Oh, mother of God. We missed that guy. It's funny, before he died, he used to make fun of Carrot Top because he was the antithesis of Carrot Top and vice versa. And he actually took a picture right before he died. He was in Florida with Carrot Top saying everything was cool. And just, part of the outlaw. He was selling out clubs in Houston when he was 15. There'll be lines around the block. 15. And now we have Nikki Glazer. Pete Holmes. I could shit out my own brew of mediocrity. Finally tonight on Meet the Press, half-naked woman crashes through restaurant ceiling in Tennessee twice. That's right. A half-naked... Why doesn't that happen to me? I've been in restaurants my whole life. Fucking broad fell through. She was naked from the waist down. Even if I was in that restaurant in wherever it was, eating fucking the remains of a dead guy just killed in the kitchen, I would actually not even sue the guy if a chick fell through the ceiling with no pants on. I go, you know what? The entertainment was great. The fucking guy's nuts are a little cooked. Half-naked 26-year-old woman fell through the ceiling of a Tennessee burger and barbecue joint early this week. Not once, but twice. Before being apprehended by police in the dining room. Can you put that picture of her up? Harley Morton. She doesn't look crazy. That's the thing. She looks just like a girl Peggy I know. Anyways, Harley Morton was arrested on Tuesday night after an employee working at Cookout, a burger and barbecue joint in Kingsport, called police around 10 p.m. to report seeing a woman busting through the ceiling tile. The woman was able to pull herself up and retreat back into the ceiling. Officers arrived to find slight damage in the kitchen and recovered what appeared to be the woman's wallet on the roof. While officers were still in the premises, the woman fell through the tile again, landing on the floor of the kitchen before... I guess it was a really hard girls' room to find or something. I don't know what. She's trying to take a dump in the ductwork. I've done that before. She fell through it again before trying to exit the dining room. That's when the police saw Morton wearing nothing from the waist down, and they let her go with a little spank on the bottom. Police believe the woman may have entered the building ceiling by removing a screen on the roof, not to mention her dirty panties. She was transported to a local jail and charged with criminal trespassing, vandalism, and disorderly conduct, and being 7 pounds overweight. What?
You're fucking crazy.
But here's the funny thing. You think this is the first time this happened? In June, a Mexican restaurant in Garden Grove, California, experienced a similar incident when a woman who asked to use the restroom climbed into a crawl space, crawled into the ceiling, probably dead sober too. She's like, Jesus, I gotta pee, but I have to go, and eventually crashed through into the kitchen. One of the patrons who recorded the incident described the woman as a crackhead. Hey, that's not fair. Don't prejudge. Though police did not confirm if the woman was on drugs at the time. I think that's the one time you might want the cop to confirm that you are on drugs. She said, no, I just have a really tiny bladder and I have no sense of direction. And I felt the poop coming on. I was on a blind date and I was looking at a toilet. Here's the video of that one. We actually have footage of this back in June. Oh my God. Now, how is she not permanently hurt? I don't know. We have to Google her. What was her name? Fucking the Flying Nun. Can we see that again in super slow motion? They're running a 3-4 defense. Boom! I wouldn't have rushed over. I would have finished my French fries, been belly laughing, and said, man, here's a $10 for the entertainment. What a country, folks, huh? That is it, ladies and gentlemen, for the week. And again, thank you for another stellar week. The Nick DiPaolo Show. Come see me tomorrow night and Saturday night, Governors in Levittown, Long Island. If you're in the area, please go to nickadip.com for all my tour dates, ticket information. And next weekend, not this weekend, I'll be at Comics in Mohegan Sun, Uncasville, Connecticut, Friday and Saturday night. Thank you to the Twinks for another stellar week. And remember, you think it, I will say it. You're totally welcome. And I'll see you out in the clubs.